big game here today, and a single win for Magnolia in particular could see them with a twice to beat advantage.
Huge game, two teams with championship tradition, so wanting to get that twice to beat. You're right. For Magnolia, it's more simple. You win, you get twice to beat. For TNT, not that simple, because even if they win, there'll be a lot of complications as we look at the team standings right now. It's only NLEX who's assured of that twice to beat advantage because they're at 8 wins. San Miguel, Barangay Ginebra, and Magnolia with the inside track, but they're going to need another win. Converge, TNT, rain or shine, they can still get it, but they're going to need some help and other things happening so that they can get that twice to beat advantage, and maybe the quotient system will be in play if those teams can win.
Well, for the TNT Tropang 5G, it is simple. You need the win here just to even have a shot at that twice to beat advantage, as you mentioned, Coach. And of course, for Magnolia, they just want to take the easiest path. But it was not easy at all for the TNT Tropang 5G in their last game. Let's zoom in into what happened against Barangay Ginebra San Miguel, where they lost 97-78. Coach, terrible first quarter led to that type of game.
This is a team that was on a 6-game winning streak, talking about TNT. And you're bound to play a bad game, and it happened at the wrong time for them because that was a crucial loss to Barangay Ginebra. Barangay Ginebra taking advantage of a flat TNT start, as you mentioned. That lead ballooned to as much as 32 points. TNT, nothing happening on the offensive end, only 38% from the field. They also did not get a lot of turnover points, surrendered a lot of turnovers and turnover points to Barangay Ginebra. And you look at the rebounding disparity as well. This was a game that was controlled by Barangay Ginebra from start to finish. But if you're TNT, you had a 6-game winning streak, you played one bad game, that's fine. It's time to bounce back.
Coach, let's take a look at Calvin Oftana, because Calvin Oftana did not have the first half required of him to be able to get past Barangay Ginebra. He was left scoreless in that first half, and they'll need a more consistent effort for him in this game against Magnolia if they want to get the win.
That cannot happen in a big game against a good team like Barangay Ginebra. Scoreless in the first half for Calvin Oftana. That game was decided by halftime when Barangay Ginebra took that huge lead, as much as 32 points. Look at the numbers. He still got to 18, but all in the second half, all inconsequential because the game was decided by that at that time. You need a Calvin Oftana to be aggressive today, and I expect a huge bounce-back game for Calvin Oftana.
Well, the third member of our team is none other than Bea Escudero. Bea joins us on the sidelines right now. Bea, what do you have?
Following Coach Mark after a tough loss to Ginebra, there was no denying the defense was really the biggest issue for TNT. According to Coach Sandy Arescochaga, the coaching staff quickly agreed that the lack of energy and urgency on defense was glaring. Well, back at the drawing board, Coach Sandy said the focus shifted to the basics, bringing back grit and discipline, especially with Magnolia's offense performing at a high level this conference. He noted how Magnolia has become more dynamic and efficient, which puts even more emphasis on TNT's defensive effort and communication. And with Brandon Ganuelas roster serving as 1-game suspension tonight, Coach Sandy said it's going to take a collective effort. Every player needs to step up, stay locked in, and contribute on both ends if they want to come out with a win. Now let's find out who the starting 5 is for both Magnolia and TNT.
Well, thank you so much for that, Bea Escudero. As we take a look at right now the other team here, we're talking about, of course, the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots. The last game that they had, Coach, against the NLEX Road Warriors, had a great start, but on the other hand, it faltered in the last part of the game.
Magnolia with 3 attempts to get a twice to beat advantage. They lost the first 2. This is their 3rd attempt. And against NLEX, they took a 19-point lead in that first quarter, but faltered down the stretch. Look at the 3-point field goals of Magnolia. Atrocious. Although they scored from 4, NLEX, the barrage of NLEX in the end game was enough to beat Magnolia. And now they are in a must-win situation to get a twice to beat advantage.
Must-win situation here for the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots. They're still getting used to, it feels like, their new look, Coach, having traded a big piece in Calvin Abueva in favor of William Navarro. So let's see whether or not they look more comfortable here. And on the other side, of course, the TNT Tropang 5G also have that piece called the Jordan Heading, who has a lot of potential in this team as well.
It's going to be extremely painful if Magnolia loses this and does not get a twice to beat advantage, because they've been the top dog for most of this conference. They won their first 6 games. And for them not to clinch twice to beat will be very painful heading into the quarterfinals.
It is a prelude to the playoffs. Which team will get one step closer to championship glory as we take a look at Tropang 5G? Remember, this is the team that is chasing a Grand Slam, while the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots is one away from a crucial twice-to-beat advantage. Once again, welcome to the Ninoy Aquino Stadium here in Manila. And here we go. Here are game officials. Noel Kilingen is leading this group. I'm Paulo De Rosario alongside Mark Molina, Coach Mark Molina. Bea Escudero joins us on the sidelines. We'll get to see her later on. Coach, early start here for the TNT Tropang 5G. Feels like they have to take advantage of this, considering that Magnolia, statistically speaking, are not one of the better teams in terms of starter points as we take a look at the very first point here.
And they need to be aggressive right from the start. I like that call coming from Coach Chot Reyes because you want to go high percentage immediately. And why not take advantage of RR Pogoy, who is a very good post player.
Very good post player, RR Pogoy. The dirty secret on him is that he is great with his back against the basket. He has a bit of that guard size, the oversized guard size, but with post skills.
Because he was a big man in high school. When he got to FEU, he wasn't really that much of a shooter yet, but he played tough inside.
Again, early growth spurt, Coach, for an RR Pogoy. Now, let's see what Magnolia can do here. 3 points to start out for TNT in their very first possession, while Magnolia have a turnover in theirs. Coach, Magnolia have recent struggles after being one of the hottest teams in the conference. Well, what do you attribute that to?
Well, first, they incorporated an important piece in Will Navarro in the middle of this conference. And this is the first time Will Navarro is starting since they acquired him. He has not played that well. We all know he's a great talent, but they've lost the first 2 games with him.
RR Pogoy unable to get that to go. Varilla almost getting the offensive rebound, but it will go the other way. And Paul Varilla, a workhorse for the TNT Tropang 5G. Well, let's be fair, all of them are here under Coach Chot Reyes. But William Navarro, Coach, we've seen him from Northport Batang here putting up incredible numbers. How long do we expect him to get used to his new space here with the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots? He's not seeing the ball as much and has to play in a different type of role.
And he's also, the last 2 games, he has been hesitant, not as aggressive, maybe still feeling out his role in this team. Maybe that's the reason why he's starting this game, because they want an aggressive Will Navarro on the offensive end, and they were looking for him in that possession.
First point of the game, courtesy of William Navarro. Nagdilang anghel si Coach Mark Molina talking about his aggression. Here's Enciso kicking that out to the corner. Dribble handoff, Pogoy now to Williams. Great ball movement. Kelly Williams able to get the triple.
Always been a big part of the offense of TNT and Chot Reyes to have 3-point shooting centers.
And it's just so incredible. I remember growing up and just seeing Kelly Williams attack the rim, but here he is right now just spacing the floor in his advanced era of his career. I will not say age.
And to be a contributor in a championship caliber team like TNT, that's just amazing for Kelly Williams. There's Navarro taking advantage of Varilla, who's not a bad defender.
Nope. Yep.
But of course, he's giving up a lot of size.
And a foul there on Navarro. Coach Chito Victolero not happy with that. Very animated. It's a 6-2 start here in favor of the TNT Tropang 5G. Again, TNT need a win here. Things are out of their hands. The magic number here this conference, Coach, for twice to beat advantage is 8. And a win here from Magnolia will be able to get them there. Kelly Williams gets back-to-back triples here. What a start here for Kelly.
And for TNT, after struggling big time offensively against Barangay Nebra, now they are having a blazing start.
I remember back in the day, Kelly Williams was Machine Gun Kelly. Feels like he's a sniper now. Here's Kelly Williams again. Here's Pogoy.
The offensive struggles continuing for this starting unit of Magnolia. There's no Lucero, no Paul Lee in this lineup.
Coming off Dana. Nifty move. The finish not quite there. Mark Baroka and Ian Sanggalang haven't really been part of the offense early on here for Magnolia.
And they need to be.
They're feeding William Navarro aggressively here, Coach.
All 4 points in the game of Magnolia coming from William Navarro. But you can see the talent of this kid and the versatility on both ends of the floor.
It's as if Coach Chito Victorero challenged him to do more. Kelly Williams attacking the closeout. Calvin Octana in the corner, open for a few seconds. That's all he needed.
That's just great basketball coming from Kelly. He knew they would close out on him. Why not drive and kick? And that led to the open three-pointer of Octana. He's not going to get an assist because that was a hockey assist from Kelly Williams. But credit Kelly for that basket.
Ian Sangalang finishing in the interior to answer back TNT's 3 straight three-pointers here in this first quarter. Well, if you're Magnolia, you gotta start running them off the line. They are finding their range. That's a 4-pointer from Kelly Williams, and that was not close. Arapo Goy, and now Enciso. Enciso, not yet dialed in for 3 as William Navarro gets a rebound. Navarro, now back to Navarro. Barroca, swing that around. Rome De La Rosa finding a cut in Mark Barroca. You know, the veteran Mark Barroca still has a spring in his step.
And you need to do that if you're Barroca. Don't just rely on your one-on-one game. Move without the ball and you will get easier baskets.
Kelly Williams. Olvarilla. Hand off to Calvin Octana. Show from Navarro. Calvin working on Navarro. Second chance, no good. Mark Barroca comes away with it. Quarterbacking here for the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots as Mark Barroca the spin and the finish.
Mark Barroca always in control. He's not anymore that consistent guy who can give you 15 points a match every night, but he can still be very effective.
Class is permanent for Mark Barroca. Sometimes he doesn't even need to score to be effective. Great hands there from William Navarro. It's a 3-on-1 break. Mark Barroca saying, is anyone jumping? No, so he'll score. Mark Barroca has been on a tear. 6 straight points for Mark. And all of a sudden, we're all knotted up at 12 apiece. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You are still watching the 49th season of the PBA Philippine Cup here on PBA Rush and the Pilipinas Live app. After surrendering a 19-point lead and falling to NLEX, Magnolia head coach Chito Victorero was pretty candid on his post-game reflections. He pointed to his players' overly relaxed attitude early in the game as a major factor, saying that it did cost them their sharpness and aggressiveness, two things that NLEX quickly took advantage of. But another concern were the inconsistencies in their three-point shooting, which he says must improve, especially against a team like TNT that can punish defensive lapses quickly. Well, with the playoffs fast approaching, Coach Chito says that there is no room for complacency as he demands a playoff mindset from his squad, which means take care of the ball with no more than 14 turnovers and aim for at least 23 assists. Other than that, it's about locking in perimeter and transition defense. Gentlemen, back to you.
Well, clear goal set there by Coach Chito Victorero, 23 assists. And Calvin Octana with the chase down on Ian Sangalang. We run the other way here as R.R. Pogoy going strong, but Mark Barroca with the rebound. We're still running here. Let's see what Ian Sangalang could do. He'll slow things down and we will breathe for just a second, but Mark Barroca says not yet. All right, Coach, where was I? When we talk about what Bea Escudero reported there, she referenced that Coach Chot Reyes and his TNT Tropang 5G are a great defensive team that will punish an inconsistent Magnolia team. Easier said than done, considering just how great this TNT iteration has been on the defensive end.
Well, especially in the last few games, TNT, I thought they were dead in the water when they lost their first 3 games, but they've turned it around. Amazingly, the first win of that 6-game winning streak coming at the expense of San Miguel, and they've been playing at a championship level since.
Ian Sangalang on the free throw line here. Every time it's an all-Filipino conference, he seems to up his numbers. He has been given that space to operate here for Magnolia. And just take a look what he did against the NLEX Road Warriors. It did come in a loss these last 2 games, but then he has been producing the numbers here.
Very consistent. Look at that field goal percentage. 10 out of 12 against NLEX. You want the rebounding numbers to increase a bit because he only had 3, and then 5 turnovers there for Sangalang. But he was very efficient as far as making his shots were concerned, most of them inside the paint.
All of a sudden, Magnolia in the lead right now after what was a red-hot shooting start here for the TNT Tropang 5G, courtesy of that guy, Kelly Williams. And Jordan heading a turnover in his very first handoff. Here's Zabe Lucero attacking Brian Heruela. The extension, the size, the athleticism. Coach Chot Reyes not happy. He sues for time.
And suddenly, TNT has been lapsing into turnovers. And when you're turning the ball over, you open the floor for athletic guys like Xavier Lucero.
Dangerous prospect here with Magnolia running and attacking. 16-12. 4-point lead for Magnolia. We'll be right back.
You know what I love about
lalong tumalas ang pinuhunang atas ng pangarap. Nagpasalapaan, abante, diskarte, di bale, walang pake sa maaarte. Tuloy lang at kampante, ginto lang ang diskarte. Bumubulusok, umuusok, tumutusok, at tagos sa bawat sulok.
Welcome back to 12-0 run here for the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots, who were down 12-4 to start this game. We go to Glenn Cobuntin, unable to get that to go. Paul Lee pops that up, and Cobuntin has it here. Heruela saves it to Calvin Oftana. Jordan Heading has yet to get going here. Heading, finding Poy Eram, but then what a tap there from Rome De La Rosa. Rome De La Rosa reminds me of those classic defensive players from the 90s, but this guy can actually shoot the ball.
He's very physical. Classic 3-and-D player.
Yeah.
Because he knows his role, doesn't take a lot of shots, doesn't turn the ball over, but plays excellent defense. And when he's open, he will nail that three-pointer.
Here's Lastimosa. Great ball movement here from Magnolia as Rome De La Rosa tried to force the issue inside. Heading, plays it forward. Cobuntin. Now getting it to Eram. Eram settles for the jumper. That's good.
That's the pace that Chot Reyes wants to play with. They want to push the ball and then take advantage of opportunities in transition. They don't have to be fast break points, but when you're playing fast, you're going to get some open looks.
Yeah, don't necessarily play too quick, but play at tempo, the tempo that they want. Here's Zabe Lucero, able to get the basket and one. Zabe Lucero has arrived, coach, as one of the pillars of this Magnolia franchise. Here he is getting it from Paul Lee. Coach, when we take a look at Zabe Lucero and the body of work that he has compiled so far, I think it's safe to say Magnolia fans will be really excited for the future of this young man.
And that's his thing, getting the ball on the roll as a screener in the pick and roll. Because when he has space, when there is space to operate with, Xavier Lucero is a handful because of his athleticism, and he has a nice touch.
He has a nice touch. That free throw is good there for Zabe Lucero. Zabe Lucero, one of the key cogs of this Magnolia team, averaging around 18.4 points per game and only averaging around 62.7% from the free throw line. Made his a bonus there a while ago, though. 19-14 to count. Paul Lee hit with the foul there. 19-14 the count here with 3:55 left here in the first. Heading, playing provider here to Poy Eram, and Poy Eram unable to get that one to fall. Now here's Paul Lee. Coach, we saw it a while ago with Navarro. It felt like he had a bit of a rough start here for Magnolia, but then Coach Chito Victorero really gave him the ball in the first few exchanges here for Magnolia.
Right.
But then Jordan Heading on the other end, Coach, talking about some of the new guys, has yet to find his groove here. It might take a while, considering he also is coming from an injury from Converge after that trade.
That's two things that he has to deal with. New team, new system, and then that injury, of course. And it's also harder for a guard like Heading to come into another system because he's usually the point guard. He's the one running the show. And with the injuries that TNT has in that backcourt, they really need to rely a lot on Jordan Heading as far as orchestrating this team.
Here's Calvin Octana, able to get a crucial jumper here for the TNT Tropang 5G after Magnolia went on a significant run here. At one point, it really felt like they were in complete control. Talking about Magnolia. Here's Jerome Lastimosa, Kim Aurin chasing him here. Lastimosa had to terminate there after Aurin's defensive effort, but Jordan Heading with the tap. Timeout called here from Coach Chito Victorero. 3-point lead for Magnolia with 3 minutes left. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Magnolia leading by 3.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP, all in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
We mentioned him a while ago. Xavier Lucero has arrived here for the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots, one of the most consistent cogs of this Magnolia machine, averaging around 18.4 points per game here so far. And of course, having a big impact on the hot start here for the Hotshots. Take a look at his numbers against NLEX, Coach, a double-double performance.
This guy is really so talented. You look at, you saw that double-double. He's very active on the defensive end as well. Can switch on pick and rolls, can play defense on the post, can be a good shot blocker as well. So really versatile player in Xavier Lucero.
Oh, and what a block there. Jerome Lastimosa, shot erased. Jordan Heading, great defensive work there. But Coach, when you take a look at Xavier Lucero having arrived, William Navarro, the prospect of having the two of them together, especially when William Navarro is adjusted, has to excite the Magnolia fans, especially moving forward.
But that is something that they have not yet done on a consistent basis, playing the two together, Navarro and Lucero. I think they can complement each other.
They can go really young, actually, with Jerome Lastimosa, William Navarro, then Xavier Lucero, and Jordan Heading. Great signs here for TNT, hitting a triple early.
That's what he can do. We all know that Jordan Heading is really a terrific three-point shooter.
Lastimosa shooting over the outstretched hands of Poy Eram, and that'll be a foul on James Lapot off the rebound.
So TNT getting a little bit of momentum here now. Look at that pass coming from Cobontin. You don't leave this guy open.
This three-point shot is brought to you by Rexona. As Jordan Heading, if he gets going, if he finds his groove, we all know what he can do. We've seen it with Gilas Pilipinas, we've seen it with Converge, Fiber Xers, and he is a guy that once he finds his groove, the streak could go on and on. Paul Lee, he's not a bad shooter himself, trying to keep in touch with Jordan Heading. Glenn Cobontin attacking Xavier Lucero, who turned his head just a bit too long.
And that's how you attack a guy who's taller than you. Great job by Glenn Cobontin to take it strong and using his body.
Jerome Lastimosa heading right in front of him. De La Rosa swings that out. Then Cobontin. Working against Lucero, the turnaround Jay, trying to finish that off the glass. Rafi Rivas does what he does best, getting the rebound, locating the shooter, but then Paul Lee can convert. Rafi Rivas, maybe a few years ago, he could have chased down Paul Poy.
But this is the pace. This is the pace TNT thrives in. You have a Poy Elam who's excellent in the fast break as well for a big man.
Lucero almost lost a handle there, shown a double. A lot of respect shown him. Lastimosa attacking the closeout of Aurin, settles for the J.
He earlier missed a midi, but this time Jerome delivers.
Oh yeah, but back and forth first quarter here, Coach. The TNT Tropang 5G were down by a significant margin a while ago. So was the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots. Now the gap is 2 as Poy Eram loses it. And that's another great swipe coming from Rome De La Rosa. That's a second
That's right.
tap that he's had.
That's twice on Elam on the roll. He needs to take it stronger there. Elam asking for the foul, but none given.
Arajonisha coming in for Rome De La Rosa. Paul Lee also checking out. So it's Mark Baroca, Jerome Lastimosa, Xavier Lucero, Arajonisha, and Rafi Rivas on the floor. I love seeing Rafi Rivas on the floor, by the way. The way that he takes care of his body, the way that he leads the team by example with his intensity, it's just something to emulate. As Mark Baroca using the Rafi Rivas pick, unable to get the 3-ball to fall.
I'm actually surprised with the depth of this Magnolia front line that Rivas is getting minutes today, but that's the respect of Coach Chito Victorero, recognizing the kind of leadership they can get from Rafi.
Also, they're playing with a lot of size here, Coach. Talking about Magnolia, I don't think they've had a lineup here this quarter that had that did not have like a James Lapot or a Rafi Rivas or Ian Sangalang present.
That's correct.
As Jerome Lastimosa, block going on the way up. No fouls as the referee.
3 seconds difference between game and shot clock here. So yeah, Magnolia with 7 seconds.
Play call made here by Coach Chito Victorero. Mark Baroca set to initiate.
They would be wise to take this with maybe 1 or 2 seconds left in the shot clock.
That's exactly what they're doing here, Coach. He's got to shoot. Does he see it? No, he does not. And that'll be a waste of time there for Jerome Lastimosa. Either way, 2.9 left here to shoot.
And that's not forgivable. If you're Jerome Lastimosa, you are the point guard. You should know how many minutes are left, how many seconds are left in the shot clock. And he had the ball for a good, pretty much the entire time in that possession.
Yeah, just gave a really late pass, but then a chance now for TNT to extend their lead here with 2.9 left. Still time for a shot, but they have to go 3/4 the length of the floor. Kim Aurin set to inbound here. And with the way that TNT are spread, there's going to be a lot of runners. Here's Kelly. Why not? But that's wide, that's left, and we go into the second quarter with TNT leading by 2. It's been frantic, up and down, back and forth, 23-21, TNT still in charge. The Tropang 5G have acquired the services of Jordan Heading, 10 points in his first game in around 20 minutes against Barangay Ginebra San Miguel. But still a lot of work to be done. And when you take a look at Jordan Heading and the amount of adjustments that need to be made, we referenced that a while ago, Coach Mark. But then at the same time, Coach Chok, he is known for a very guard-centric offense.
This is an excellent acquisition for TNT to get somebody who can create his own shot, can run the pick and roll, and can also play off the ball as a floor spreader because of his ability to catch and shoot and hit that three-pointer, he's going to be a big, big part of the future of the Tropang Giga.
Now the question is, how quickly can he bed in? There's always going to be an adjustment period.
Of course.
Not everyone is a hand and glove fit initially. Again, his role for Converge, very different for his role here in the Tropang 5G, where he has to share a lot of the limelight with guys like R.R. Pogoy and Calvin Octana. Here's Alfaro. Trying to find Alfaro in the interior. A lot of white shirts around the perimeter, but they tried to go inside Ian Sanggalang with a rare miss with his left. Pogoy. A lot of pressure here being shown. Heading now. Hit 1-3 in the first quarter. Swings it around to the corner to Glenn Cobuntin. Lucero trying to stay in front of him. Aurin able to drain a three.
That's not an easy shot there for Kim Aurin. Relocating, going to the right spot so that Glenn Cobuntin can spot him.
Degree of difficulty is there. Boy Aram against Ian Sanggalang. Ian, that felt like a classic 90s battle there. Just back down. But that time the defender wins. Kim Aurin heading open for a second. Catch, shoot, unable to finish. Boy Aram, great defense on one end, follow up in the other. And all of a sudden, TNT up by 7, 28-21 after that last sequence, Coach. Boy Aram right there.
These baskets are created by pace. They pushed that ball. Heading was open. When Heading took that shot, Magnolia was not in the position for that block box out, and that's why Boy Aram got that putback.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
This season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays, talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
In Manila, the TNT Tropang 5G are still leading Magnolia here 28-21 after what was a furious run at the end of the fourth quarter. Still scoreless, by the way, are the Magnolia Hotshots here in quarter number 2.
5-0 run here to start the second quarter for TNT. And it starts with good old-fashioned defense.
Again, TNT is now the best defensive team in the entire league this conference. And there is a lot of battling in the interior. And Zabe Lucero adjusts a foul Glenn Cobuntin.
Glenn Cobuntin. He plays so much bigger than his size. I mean, undersized power forward, but he can also play the three. He has developed that outside shot as well. And what about what he did in that last finals for TNT? I'm sure Barangay Nebra cannot forget about this guy.
Oh, yes, that's so true. Clutch ability for Glenn Cobuntin. And of course, what a weapon for him to have, for Coach Shot Reyes to have here. As Kelly Williams being fed by Glenn Cobuntin, and Coach Chito Victorero upset with the way his team has been playing here this second quarter. Scoreless and porous on defense, Coach.
How many players get the offensive rebound right there in the middle of the paint and he's looking to pass? That's the value of Glenn Cobuntin.
Glenn Cobuntin making the winning plays here early as we take a look at Kelly Williams. Kelly Williams, 8 points against Barangay Ginebra, had a season high of 15 against the Blackwater Bossing. We talk about his value, Coach. He's no longer that rim runner, that attacker, but then he is still hyper athletic and has the range and is a smart defender.
This guy has changed his game, especially in the offensive end. Now he's a very good three-point shooter. And you mentioned smart defender. That is his value. Always in position, always knows the schemes, and that's why he's very valuable to TNT.
Here's Mark Baroka. Not happy with the look that he's seeing, by the way. Swings that around to Alfaro. Ball moving around here. Ian Sanggalang unable to get the finish. William Navarro, offensive rebound in the basket and one. And you can see a bit of emotion here for William Navarro. I can only imagine the pressure that the young man has had because he has come in to one of the hottest teams in the league, and since the trade, he has yet to taste victory. Two losses already for William Navarro. And you have to be wondering what type of pressure he has put himself under.
Because some people are saying maybe they're missing the energy of Calvin. And that's why in this game so far, this is the most energetic I've seen of Will Navarro since he got here to Magnolia.
It feels effortful in a good way.
Yes.
Here's Enciso. Great tap there from Baroka. But it looks like it will still be TNT ball. Simon Enciso. Finding R.R. Pogoy. Roger Ray. Moves on to Kelly Williams. Kelly attacking in Sanggalang. Wild shot there. Uncharacteristic from Kelly. William Navarro taking one-on-one with R.R. Pogoy. He has a size advantage, but Pogoy has old man strength, and he wins out there.
Yeah, Pogoy. This guy defends Justin Brownlee in the post and other imports.
Came out in, open in the corner, dodged the bullet. Talking about Magnolia. 30-24. Just 3 points in the quarter so far for Magnolia. Kim Maurin attacking the veteran. Swings it to Junicio. Relocates for three. Gets fouled by Cobuntin.
And Glenn was just a little bit too close. You always want to challenge that three-point shot, especially from a shooter like Aris Junicio.
We got to credit Aris Junicio with that catch, by the way, because it was an off-target pass.
Yes.
He had to catch it, relocate, settle himself for the shot, and was able to get it off and be fouled in the process. Of course, Aris Junicio having a good campaign as well for the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots. But we go first to unforgettable awaits. Watch the 2025 NBA Finals this June on NBA TV Philippines, One Sports, RPTV, and Pilipinas Live. Hashtag NBA on Signal. Hashtag everything counts. You know what, Coach? I always believed in the Pacers. Simula pa lang.
Ako, last 5 years siguro.
Okay. Well, the Pacers, what a campaign they've been having so far against, I think it's safe to say, the favored Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, absolutely. They're really favored to win this series. But the Pacers really making believers out of everybody.
And so what do we call them? The yes sirs?
Yes sirs.
And I'm sure baka magbayad sila ng copyright kay Tito Miko Halili. The yes sirs. As we go back here to the PBA, Aris Junicio getting the free throws. And Magnolia starting to chip away at TNT's lead here. A very slow start for Magnolia for the second quarter in a row, Coach. They have to be able to start off quarters with a bit more force here, because that has been a trend that has worked to the detriment of Magnolia. R.R. Pogoy, what a fake from R.R. Attacking, going strong inside.
He's so good with that ball fake. He gets his defender in the air and then takes it strong to the basket.
Is it possible to still say that R.R. Pogoy is a bit underrated in terms of his offensive package? As we have Zave Lucero scoring from the elbow. Kelly Williams now. Kelly. R.R. Working against Alfaro, kicking that out to Kelly Williams. He has 2 threes, can't get a third. R.R. Pogoy attacking Alfaro, and that time that will be a flopping violation against Alfaro. Coach Chito, will he challenge? Trying to figure that out. R.R. is asking for continuation, by the way.
And I think Al has a point. If they're going to call a flop there, that should count.
Well, we're going to see here, as Coach Victor not happy with the last sequence, just when Magnolia were starting to build a bit of momentum for themselves here in the second quarter.
Very quiet was the Magnolia offense prior to the last couple of possessions.
Well, right now, though, they are catching up in terms of scoring. At this point, at 32-29, 9-8 in favor of TNT in terms of quarter scoring. So the flopping violation,
The shot won't count.
was included. The shot won't count.
And
So it'll be one free throw, ball possession. RR Pogoy, who, you know, I love this Gilas conquest back in the day when he would not miss from beyond the arc and we'd end up calling him Bogdanovic.
Bogdanovic.
So take a look at this last sequence. Let's take a look at that here. So there's the flop. And there's insistence on why it should be continuation. We turn over now to Bea Escudero. Bea.
Following Coach Mark over at the Magnolia huddle, Coach Chito Victorero reminded his players of two key things. Defensively, after giving up easy looks and collapsing on closeouts, left TNT shooters wide open. He called for much tighter and more disciplined coverage. Now, offensively, the focus was on patience, finding the best option and taking advantage of their size inside the paint to establish a rhythm and get high percentage shots. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero, almost on point though, as she was reporting about trying to close out on the shooters, not giving them a lot of space. That was actually a great defensive effort from the Magnolia Hotshots, but TNT still got a three-pointer out of that possession. So right now, Mark Baroka upset with the fall of our Pogoy, asking for a flop on the other end. And our Pogoy, by the way, is telling everyone, nope, it was a push.
And we've been talking about Lucero and Navarro. Now they're playing together. They can afford to play this lineup with using Navarro and Lucero as your bigs, because TNT, they don't really have a strong power playing center.
Especially with Brandon Gilwell's roster suspended due to that flagrant
You're right.
2. So this is at least from a height perspective, a smaller TNT team. Williams. RR Pogoy working against Mark Baroka. Baroka not known to back down. The spin from RR, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Back-to-back fouls there from Mark Baroka.
So TNT trying to milk this play. Pogoy in the low post, they feel that RR will have the advantage, whether it's against Baroka or against Alfaro.
RR Pogoy able to get the first. As we take a look at some of his numbers here, RR Pogoy only 8 points against Barangay Ginebra. That is less than half of his average here this conference, coach.
Very quiet. Impressive in the first 9 games, especially the field goal percentage. 54.2, because this guy takes a lot of three-pointers.
Alfaro bringing this one down. 6-point lead for TNT nearing the halfway point of this second quarter. Mark Baroka showing a quick double here. And William Navarro is starting to have a game for himself here, coach. William Navarro has been a regular contributor to the scoring.
And by far his best game as a Magnolia hotshot.
Already with 9 points here today, or rather 7 points here today. And that will go the other way. Another turnover here for the TNT Tropang 5G. And hopefully Calvin's okay. Just a bit shaken up. Let's take a look at what happened in that sequence.
And Ciso had nowhere to go there. He had heading there.
And turned that left ankle.
Yep.
But he is a tough cookie. And that's the reason why you should tape your ankles well.
And the reason why there was no pass for Enciso in the corners, because heading did not go all the way to the corner. Those are the things that you have to get used to with that TNT system. You expect somebody to always flare to the corner when somebody's driving that baseline.
Because you can have an idea of how teams run certain systems, but then the details come later.
Absolutely.
37-33 here. The TNT Tropang 5G still in charge with 6:34 left here in the second quarter. Paul Lee on your frame and in the game. Mark Baroka. Paul Lee has it right now with RR right in front of him. And that'll be a foul from our Pogoy. Just too handsy against William Navarro. You know, they're so respectful here, talking about the way that they guard the 3-point shot and the 4-point shot, about the TNT Tropang 5G.
Yes.
Because this Magnolia team has a lot of very talented shooters. Paul Lee in particular has had zero breathing room in this game.
And you can switch this because Pogoy is a tough defender and can switch into the big men of Magnolia.
Oh, Xavier Lucero shooting right in front of Kelly Williams.
This guy's really good. Complete offensive player.
Oh, but left wide open. That was Glenn Cobuntin. Missed opportunity there for TNT. William Navarro waiting for a teammate here. They swing it around to Xavier Lucero. Zabe with the charge. And that is one of the parts of the game of Zabe Lucero that he will grow to develop and control more, because he is hyper athletic. And that time you could see that extension with the right hand.
And to me, it wasn't necessary because he already got Glenn Cobuntin beaten off that dribble. And with the way you can jump, you just get in the air and no need to extend that right arm.
Jump into his body. Well, not necessarily jump into his body, but then when you jump up, there will be contact. Here's Poy Eram. Eram working against Navarro, and that will be an offensive foul because Poy Eram had that shoulder, I believe, above, or rather the elbow above the shoulder of William Navarro. But Coach Tot Reyes will review it. Again, let's see whose angle is right. Of course, Poy Eram
That's a
felt he had
difficult,
the advantage.
difficult play to officiate, really, because a lot of contact there in the post between Eram and Will Navarro.
So they're probably going to be looking at that left elbow from Poy Eram. We're going to get to see that later on. But let's focus first on this fight back coming from Magnolia. Coach, it started out here with TNT. It felt like they were running away with the second quarter. Right now, Magnolia outscoring them 15-14, only trailing by 1 here. Again, Magnolia, just looking at the numbers, are one of the worst teams in terms of starter points. They have had issues starting quarters in particular, but they are finding a way here. Unsuccessful challenge there, so the ball will go back to Magnolia.
That is Janicio for De La Rosa.
So they will call Poy for that swing of the elbow.
And Coach Tot Reyes letting everyone know what he thinks about that call. Paul Lee quarterbacking here for Magnolia. Mark Baroka coming off 2 screens. Baroka attracting 2 defenders. Gives it to Zabe Lucero, who tries to shake off Glenn Cobuntin. Paul Lee attacking the closeout. What a find in the corner. Mark Baroka, no good. That would have been pretty.
Excellent offense that time coming from Magnolia. TNT had good rotation in the beginning but left Baroka open.
Pogoy. Poy. Battling against Ian Sangalang. The turnaround, the lifted shot, no good. Ian Sangalang comes away with the rebound.
That was defended well by Magnolia. No need to double against Poy Eram versus Ian Sangalang.
Paul Lee. Take a look at the space that he's not getting. Jordan heading all over his jersey. Mark Baroka. Still giving the Paul Lee. This time he attacks the closeout. Almost a turnover. Ian Sangalang had to put that up. Paul Lee collects. Unable to score. Ian fights back. And battling and battling and battling. And finally, Magnolia score.
Second chance opportunities here from Magnolia, giving them this lead.
38-37. That's Jordan heading with a nice running floater. Again, Jordan Heading is able to shoot the ball from beyond the arc, but he is also able to put the ball on the floor and get floaters like that.
Absolutely. And he reads the defense very well.
Mark Baroka putting Kim Maurin on his hip, and Poy Eram there to protect the rim. That is Janicio No good. Poy Adam comes away with the rebound.
And once again, the three-point shot has been a problem here for Magnolia. Xavier Lucero goes for the steal. And because of that, somebody will get an easy layup.
And that guy is R.R. Pogoy, Roger Ray. Now TNT 41-38. Paul Lee. Dave Lucero offering a pick here. Lee ran into Poy Eram and almost a turnover. It's completed. We go the other way. It's 4-on-4. And that time, Dave Lucero gambled and won. Dave Lucero, wide open, corner, Paul Lee. That's a layup for Paul.
And that's why TNT with a conscious effort to take away that three-point shot from Paul Lee. They have done a great job so far, except in that last play, because that came off a turnover.
And here's another turnover. Paul Lee finds Mark Baroka. Mark to Ian. Ian a little bump. Good defensive stop there from TNT. As Coach Chito Victorero upset with the no call. Here's Kim Aurin. Aurin working against Lucero. Jordan heading now. Poy Adam with the pick. They switch defense here. Another turnover for TNT. The turnover numbers just popped up a while ago. Sanggalang unable to get the first time.
Wow.
Zane Lucero mistimes his jump. And we're still not up at 41 all.
And those are baskets that they're usually easy for Ian Sanggalang.
Pogoy attacking, going left, unable to finish in the interior, but Poy Adam with the flex. Offensive rebound in the basket.
Both teams looking a bit tired right now. Baroka trying to take advantage, but Pogoy fouls him.
If Frantic had a defensive, or rather a basketball sequence, it has been the last 2 minutes of this quarter. So a couple of changes here for the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots. Almost a platoon swap here with Paul Lee staying on.
We didn't have a dead ball for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's why all of the substitutions coming in here.
All right, so let's recap. Kim Aurin, Poy Eram, then Cobuntin, Simon Enciso, and Calvin Oftana on the floor for TNT as we turn over to Bea Escudero.
Following Coach Mark, after checking up on Calvin Oftana, he did sustain a left ankle sprain, but according to the team PT, he did just advise Calvin to just keep on moving the affected area and tighten his shoelace for the time being. He adds that it's not much of a concern as Calvin should be good to go as he checks back into the ballgame. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero as Calvin Oftana looks spry here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, tape your ankles. But that time, Poy Eram unable to get that one. The ball will stay with the black shirts. So William Navarro having a great game here, Coach.
Showing us why Magnolia acquired him. Double team on Paul Lee. Though this was the previous play. This is Ian Sanggalang getting blocked by TNT in that sequence.
And that's one of the reasons why Magnolia were upset. They felt that there should have been a foul there. Xavier Lucero being fed by William Navarro. Playing at 100 miles an hour. Jerome Lastimosa to Paul Lee. Lee relocates 4-4. Paul Lee!
That's the shot TNT has been trying to avoid all game long. But excellent one dribble relocation by Paul Lee. And this has been the biggest problem from TNT.
Turnovers have been an issue in this game for the TNT Tropang 5G. And this is an issue. You take a look at the shot from Paul Lee. A big booming four. Hit a three a while ago. 7 points in the quarter here for Paul Lee in the past few possessions.
And that's why we have Pogoy quickly returning back to the game, because with Paul Lee getting hot, he has been excellent defending Paul Lee so far.
And if Paul Lee gets hot, we all know what happens. De La Rosa attacking Amon Vosotros as they switch things around, and De La Rosa and Poy Eram hit the ground. Pogoy attacking, going to Glencoe Buntin, unable to get that one to go. Jerome Lastimosa has it. Last shot, says the entire bench of Magnolia.
And of course, we're going to have Paul Lee here, probably a high screen and roll, and expect a trap. So look at that roll coming from Navarro.
7 seconds left, and that will be a foul here, or at least a whistle blow. Not quite sure what it was.
Double foul.
This has been a 26-20 quarter in favor of the Magnolia Hotshots, as Paul Lee has played a big part in them getting this lead. Here he is with the inbound, 6 seconds left. Lastimosa against Vosotros. He goes on the attack. And that is as pretty as it comes there for the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots, 49-43. After starting out slow in the second, they have come back to life. And that man over there, Zabe Lucero, has had himself a game.
He has been very consistent all conference long. Look at that pull-up jumper from Zabe Lucero. He also takes it strong to the basket. And then he also had the three in this quarter. There's that three from Xavier Lucero, doing it from just about everywhere. 12 points in the first half for Xavier.
Zabe saves as the Magnolia Chicken Timplados Hotshots are up by 6 against TNT Tropang 5G at the halftime break. Don't go away. We have a lot more when we return.
Yo, umangat pa ang mga bida sa gilas ng hingas, perlas ang silangan.
About Filipinas Live.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP, all in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Filipinas Live.
Ball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP. All in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
About Philippine.
Volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP. All in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Love about
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP. All in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Turnovers, they average around 12, and they already have 12 turnovers. In terms of turnover points, though, Magnolia have that 12, as you mentioned a while ago, Coach, but their bench also producing a lot of numbers here.
And that's why even though TNT shot better from threes, also out-rebounded Magnolia. Magnolia's in this game because of those turnover points. And then the scoring off the bench of Magnolia has been terrific in that first half. Some sloppy offense from time to time there from TNT as we look at the leading scorers, and then the cornerstone of this Magnolia future. We saw that in that first half. Lucero 12 points, Navarro 11. They played together towards the end of that second quarter. And against a not so big TNT front line, these two can be very dominant. Pugoy, Oftana, Kelly Williams, and Eram. Very balanced scoring here, but they're going to need more from their new guy, Jordan Heading.
It is symbolic almost for Magnolia. Just taking a look at this, the future leading the way while being backstopped by the veterans, those serial winners in Apoli and in Mark Baroka. Sa mga kababayan natin sa Hong Kong, tuloy-tuloy ang Independence Day celebration sa Hong Kong Fest 2025. Presented by Tinbo, powered by PLDT Global. Co-presented by MQuest Ventures and Philippine Airlines, the official airline carrier. Salamat din po sa ating official partners, Smart, MWell, First Pacific, and Filipinas Live. And tomorrow, June 14, we salute our modern day heroes in Hong Kong with Saludo the Concert with Bossing Vic Soto, Senator Rapi Tulfo, Randy Santiago, and a lot of stars. It is happening in Hong Kong, Coach. And of course, Miss Shena Olato is joining us also all the way from Hong Kong. Without a doubt, enjoying this great contest. We wish you were here, Ma'am Shena, but we're happy you're enjoying on behalf of all of us in Hong Kong.
And of course, we can be seen all over the world via Pilipinas Live.
That is true. And what a game that we have for everyone. It has been, we talked about this off the air, Coach, it has been a bit sloppy but highly entertaining because there's so much on the line in this contest as we bring you the third quarter here at the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. TNT still trailing by 6. Coach, we take a look at the turnovers. It is uncharacteristic for the TNT Tropang 5G, and this guy, Paul Lee, had a hot ending to that second quarter.
He had a 3 in the corner and then a 4 in that wing. Paul Lee suddenly coming alive towards that end of that second quarter, and that tilted the difference towards Magnolia and Jordan Heading with a nice basket attacking the defense of Paul Lee.
Jordan Heading has not really figured in this game much. You mentioned it a while ago, Coach. He only has had 5 points and only attempted 4 times. So he's 2 out of 4 from the field as Poy Adam with a nice stop there.
And I think TNT, this could be their best 5 with all the injuries that they've had, but this is a strong lineup for Chotres to start the third.
Galvin Oftana, step back 3 in the face of Rome De La Rosa. He gets his own miss. Galvin attacking, feeding Poy. I mentioned it a while ago, Coach. Slow start to the first quarter, slow start to the second quarter for Magnolia, and if things don't change here, it might happen third time. There's William Navarro with a bad miss, but that falls off Poy Adams' head, I believe.
And this quick substitution here from Coach Chito Victorero, and I like it. You want Calvin to be there as your anchor. So he went with this lineup because this was the lineup that played well to end the second quarter. So he starts them again in the third quarter.
Ian Sanggalang, now Alfaro. Back to Paul Lee, hounded by R.R. Pogoy. Kicking that out to Ian Sanggalang. And what a block from Poy Adam. He's so dangerous in terms of his shot blocking ability.
Still 0.5 seconds left in the shot clock here for Magnolia. So still a chance for a catch and shoot by Poy Adam has been a force here on the defensive end.
Well, it won't be Paul Lee doing the catch and shooting. And we go the other way. They're running here. Talking about the Tropang 5G. Calvin Octana almost lost the handle. Kicks it out to Glencoe Buntin. Jordan Heading. Now to R.R. Pogoy. Size advantage over Alfaro. R.R. Gets it again. They return it and return to sender, says Xavier Lucero.
And this time Alfaro able to hold his own in the low post against Pogoy.
Mark Baroka set to come in. As a quick substitutions here for Coach Chito Victorero. And when things aren't working out here for Coach Chito Victorero, he's the type to make quick changes, trying to get the lineup right.
So those are 2 quick substitutions in the third quarter for Coach Chito.
Jordan Heading now to Poy Adam. Poy Adam triggers a triple. Off the mark with Xavier Lucero coming away with a rebound. Here's Mark Baroka. Shooting it to the corner to Rome De La Rosa. Going downhill is Lucero. De La Rosa continuing that momentum.
Nice 2-man action that time between Lucero and De La Rosa.
Jordan Heading Working against Alfaro. Asking for some help from Calvin Octana. Boy Eram with the big screen. Octana trying to split the defenders. Oh, left wide open. That was a missed coverage, and he punishes them.
And how can you lose Calvin Octana when he is the one who, with the basketball?
This three-point shot is brought to you by Rexona. What a shot from Calvin Octana. Mark Baroka. Ian Sangala. Now Mark again. Mark on the attack, and Mark Baroka strikes back.
That's when Baroka is effective, when he attacks immediately when he receives the ball.
Poyera on the move, unable to finish from close range, asking for a foul, not getting it. Coach Jot Reyes saying, stop complaining, go back down. Then La Rosa, in and out, and it will fall back to the black shirts. There he is having a conversation with Coach Chot, insisting that he got hit. As we turned over to Bea Escudero. Bea, what do you have?
Following Coach Mark over at TNT, Coach Sandy Arespicochaga voiced concern about the team's communication on defense, something that he says has contributed to their 12 turnovers in the first half, which Magnolia quickly capitalized on. Now for Coach Sandy, it's about not forcing those plays and simply locking in on their defensive assignments. As for Magnolia, Coach Jason Webb credited his players for staying composed in the first 2 quarters, but moving forward, he reminded them to better recognize TNT's defensive shifts and react accordingly. He also emphasized tightening their perimeter defense, especially after seeing TNT's shooting percentage from deep. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero. Now let's take a look at the three-point shooting of TNT. As they mentioned, he was shooting at 46.2% at the halftime break, as Xavier Lucero able to score here for Magnolia to extend their lead. Coach, defense seems to be the priority of both these teams, and both these teams have had a hard time stopping certain aspects of the game for both these guys, as R.R. Pogoy drains a triple.
I was surprised to see Pogoy at 9 points in the first half, but no attempts from threes. That's his first one in this game, and he makes Magnolia pay.
55 all here. TNT starting off the quarter hot. As Ian Sangalang working on Poyera. Tried to give him room, a little swipe, but then Ian Sangalang's a vet. He's seen that before.
And he's a handful if you give him that strong left hand dribble. Poy should take that away.
It is one of the most predictable plays in Philippine basketball. Ian Sangalang going to his left, but it typically works. Jordan heading, finding his groove here. Only had 4 attempts in the first half, as this three-point shot's brought to you by Rexona.
That's TNT's basketball at its best. You have a pick and roll on the one side, and then a shooter spotting up on the other side. Eram hitting him on the roll.
Mark Baroka with an almost signature lean towards the basket, finishing off the glass.
You said first half sloppy at times. Now third quarter, this is high quality basketball.
It is. The execution has been at another level, as Poyera makes sure that he cleans up his own mistake. It is up and down, Coach, and TNT look like a different team here as well. Mark Baroka against R.R. Pogoy. Very crowded in that wing. Pogoy, size advantage against Baroka. Baroka trying to get a step on him. Oh, he gets away for a moment. Couldn't shoot over him. And we go the other way, courtesy of Calvin Octana running the floor, attacking Xavier Lucero, but Lucero says not today. Touch passing here, Ian Sangalang, patient with the build-up, unable to get the 2, and will shoot 2. But what a sequence on the other end.
You gotta love this guy, Lucero. We've seen what he's been doing on the offensive end, but that was a wonderful block against Octana.
And that shows us how tiring that last 6 minutes was. 60-59, 5:54 left here in the third.
You know what I love about
You are still watching the 49th season of the PBA Philippine Cup. In previous games, Ian Sangalang spoke about how much easier life inside the paint has been with Xavier Lucero joining Magnolia, but this time around, he was asked about the addition of William Navarro, and the veteran big man kept it honest. As he put it, "I'm not expecting too much from William right away, but I do expect him to adjust to how we play and not the other way around." Still, Ian is optimistic about what this evolving front court can bring. With James Laput, Xavier Lucero, and now William in the mix, he believes that it will free up space for him to operate more effectively down low. And for a team built on system and structure, Ian knows that chemistry will take time, but adds that this depth serves as a boost moving forward. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero. You know, you talk about the depth of the new pieces and then some of the younger ones coming in. But at the same time, there are also some pieces on that bench that we haven't really seen much of. Hanmisi, Eriobu. There are just so many good pieces here for the Magnolia Hotshots. And Ian Sangalang, I am sure, is excited to see how far this group could go.
They've really developed a lot of depth in this lineup. We saw that in the first half. One of the strengths that they had was the bench points.
Yeah.
And TNT, of course, struggling a bit in that aspect.
Of course, Magnolia are actually the best in terms of bench scoring here. They lead the second place team in terms of bench scoring by 10 points. That is the Rain or Shine Last Painters.
That's a lot. And Rain or Shine, we all know, is one of the deepest teams as well in this league. And the Glenn Cobuntin traveled.
No, that was a walk and a half there from Glenn Cobuntin. As you're right, Coach. Rain or Shine have that famously democratic lineup, in the sense that everyone typically gets a chance to show off what they can do. You know, what is one of the coaching miracles of Coach Yang Yao, getting everyone to play and be effective. William Navarro has the size over Aurin, trying to find the man in the corner, but that's another turnover. Calvin Oftana. Kim Aurin. 12 seconds on the shot clock here. Aurin still has it. Aurin against Baroka after being fed by Cobuntin. That will be a foul against the white shirts.
This is where TNT struggles on the offensive end. They have an excellent defensive unit on the floor right now, but no real shot creator. Let's see if they can set up Calvin Oftana for a couple of maybe outside jumpers with this lineup that they have.
Simon Enciso. Now to Kelly Williams. Kelly banging in Sangalang. The high jumper is good. Kelly Williams. He is just so reliable. He pops up when he needs to.
And Kelly knows maybe it's my turn to create some offense here because his teammates have been struggling.
Just a reminder, former MVP Kelly Williams to you. And to everyone really, as De La Rosa being fouled by Calvin Oftana. A crafty move there from De La Rosa. And Coach Chot Reyes not happy with that one. So there's going to be a technical foul for resentment to a call. So that means De La Rosa we'll have 2 free throws here. Pilipinas Live Shorts is here. Catch exclusive bite-sized content from your favorite sports icons like Vanny Candler, Fifi Sharma, Yana Wong, and more. From hobbies to behind-the-scenes moments. Download the Pilipinas Live app and update to the latest version to access Pilipinas Live Shorts for free. Here's De La Rosa again after missing the first.
And these are important free throws. Magnolia was 7 out of 7 from the line in the first half. But here in the third quarter, they've missed 2 already.
Split the free throws there. 4:34 left here in the third quarter. And TNT have had the upper hand. They were trailing by 6 at the start of the half. Then different story here in the third as Calvin Oftana takes it strong.
What a move there by Oftana, showing us that he can also be a creator on that pick and roll.
Lastimosa now to Navarro. Mark Baroka has it. Mark finding Navarro. He likes this matchup against Aurin. He has the size, he has the strength, he can shoot over him. He turns, he shoots, and he scores.
We're seeing a different William Navarro in today's game. He's looking for a shot, looking for mismatches, and when he has the advantage, he has been aggressive.
Feels like he is finally showing a bit of comfort in this Magnolia team, Coach. Calvin Octana to Simon Enciso. Enciso pulls up for 3. That time, arrows aren't out for him, but then there is a foul off the rebound. William Navarro says, yep, that's on me.
And once again, Glenn Cobontin is a guy who does not give up on possessions. Here's that last move coming from Rome. And I think they call the foul on Octana in that sequence.
64-63. Calvin Octana to inbound here for TNT. 3:36 left here in the third. Kelly Williams unable to get the 3-ball to fall. That would have been big as Mark Baroka collects the rebound for Magnolia. Jerome Lastimosa back in the fray. Lastimosa. William Navarro trying to feed Dave Lucero, but Calvin Octana wise to it. Kim Maurin, a nice finish as William Navarro sends it to the line for 2.
And this is what this unit will do. Tough defense will be the calling card of this unit. And then when they can force turnovers, opportunistic on the offensive end. Kim Orin with a nice finish.
William Navarro going back to the bench here with Paul Lee coming in. So take a look at that one more time. 66-63 the count here. Kim Maurin. Again, one of the feel-good stories in the PBA when you take a look at his rise from being a 3x3 player to being drafted by a team that he did not play for in his 3x3 days. As Rafi Rivas comes back in.
And he has carved himself a role in this TNT team.
Very effective role here for Kim Maurin. Jerome Lastimosa crosses the middle. Here's Paul Lee. They get the switch here. Paul Varilla there. They're switching everything. Talking about the TNT Tropang 5G. And Paul Lee attacking Varilla. What a find to Rome de la Rosa. That was a pass and a half.
Kim Alvin fell asleep for a split second. And what a nice back cut coming from Rome.
And just 2 veterans in sync there completely. Calvin Octana. That's great defense by De La Rosa, but it finds Aurin. Aurin gets Lucero on the ground. Turnaround J, no good. Ball falls to a black shirt still. Calvin Octana. Looking around here. Decides to shoot it himself. Calvin Octana, no good. And that will be a foul against Paul Lee after taking out Paul Varilla.
Just great effort on the offensive glass coming here from TNT. And these guys, Varilla, Aurin, Cobontin. Excellent effort from these role players.
1-point lead for TNT, 66-65. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Pilipinas Live is the home of Philippine volleyball. Watch your favorite volleyball leagues such as Spikers Turf, Premier Volleyball League, and the UAAP, all in one app. You can watch all these games and more live and on your preferred device. Download Pilipinas Live today from the App Store or Google Play Store and register for free.
You are still watching the 49th season of the PBA Philippine Cup here on PBA Rush and the Pilipinas Live app. Despite putting up 18 points against Ginebra. Calvin Oftana was quick to admit that it was an off night, not just for him, but for the entire team. He pointed to his 5 of 13 shooting and said that it was a mix of everything that went wrong, lacking in rebounds, defense, and overall hustle. Now, with the playoffs nearing, Calvin shared that the loss made him reflect more deeply. For him, it's no longer just about what he can do individually. It's about recognizing that when his teammates are thriving, it helps him thrive as well. That's why moving forward, he says it's all about taking more initiative, being aggressive, and doing what it takes to lift both himself and the team. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero on Calvin Oftana. You know, Calvin Oftana, coach, he admits that he derives so much strength from his teammates as Calvin Oftana unable to drain that triple. And it was an off night for the entirety of the TNT team against Barangay Ginebra.
But what about the defense by Rom De La Rosa, one-on-one on Calvin Oftana on back-to-back possessions?
Rafi Rivas, handoff to De La Rosa. It finds its way back to Lastimosa. Lastimosa fouled off the curl. So as we take a look here at some of the numbers from both these teams in terms of the rebounding battle, actually it has been TNT who has been dominating here this by 34 to 26. Offensive rebounding in particular, 14 offensive rebounds already here for the TNT Tropang 5G. Let's see if that will be addressed later on as Rafi Rivas goes inside. Paul Lee open for a second. Good line, unable to get that to fall though. Lastimosa, almost a turnover and unable to complete it, and Simon Enciso skids on the floor. Ball will stay with the white shirts. As Paul Lee tried to make sure that Simon didn't have a clear look at collecting that ball. But coach, you know what I love about what we're seeing today? We are now seeing playoff basketball. It feels like every possession matters.
Because this can be the difference between twice to beat, and that's why Magnolia, what a shot.
Wow.
Xavier. We're really seeing the growth of his game offensively.
And forcing a turnover here. So this was the problem for the Tropang 5G in the second quarter and actually the first half entirely. Let's take a look at the sequence again. Save Lucero, what a tough shot. Not a lot of arc on that, but just picture perfect.
That's a pull-up right in front of a good defender in Barilla.
Short shot clock, had to take it, but boy, did he take it. 12 seconds on the shot clock here. Lastimosa to Lucero. Save. Handled by Aurin. Height advantage over him. Shot over him a couple of times already. That time, off the mark, Jordan Heading has it. 1 point lead for Magnolia. Kim Aurin pitches it to Pugoy. Pugoy to Heading. Heading up top. Lastimosa right there. Poy Adam with the pick. Lastimosa, or rather Heading, has it now. Adam trying to get free. And what a pass, but then unable to get the finish to match. Paul Lee thought about it. Now to Lucero. Lastimosa now, directing traffic. Lastimosa off the drive, given a lot of room, and Heading says there was a ward.
And Jerome very confident, and he knows he can take the guards of TNT off the dribble. Earlier it was against Vosotros, this time against Jordan Heading.
Aris Dionisio, a sneaky good defender, but as I say, that fouls.
He's a really good defender. I mean,
he has that length.
Him and Rome are both good defenders. Maybe he's not as physical as Rome, but you mentioned the length. He has that.
They're both dogs, coach, on the defensive end. 3 point lead here for Magnolia. 6.5 left here in the third. Chance to tie with a 3, take the lead with a 4, or trim it down to 1 with a 2. And that will be backing against Pugoy. Great pressure coming from Paul Lee.
And still a lot of time here, 4.6 seconds.
Coach Shot Reyes, I'm sure, hated that last sequence. He's looking up and, well, not much to look at there, just in bewilderment. Here's Lastimosa. Got past heading, goes
Wow.
up, unable to
Oh.
get the finish. That would have been a great highlight. 69-66, TNT with a slow end to the quarter. And once again, Magnolia bucking a slow start to the third. Takes a 3-point lead going into the fourth. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? As a fan, we don't just watch the games.
The season for me, and I just owe it all to the work I put in.
We watch every part, every angle, every name. We talk about the plays. Talk about it for days. We witness the big events, the thrilling moments, and relive the best seconds. We cherish the fears, the tears, at syempre, the cheers. How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all-out passion. All the time. All with Pilipinas Live. Ang app natin para sa sports natin.
Exactly the player that they have gotten from the Northport Batang Pier. But what about Calvin Octana? Or rather, Poy Eram, coach. Because Poy Eram here, a near double-double already, and still 12 minutes to play here in this playoff playoff-like matchup already, as that is your game summary, coach.
Well, going back to Will Navarro, give a lot of credit to Coach Chino Victorero because he started him today instead of Xavier Lucero. You would expect him to start Lucero because of the way he has played the entire conference, but mixing it up a bit gave some confidence to William Navarro, and he has responded with 13 points and has only missed one shot.
2 losses on so far here, 2 straight losses for Magnolia as they are trying to break that skid and cement their spot with a twice-to-beat advantage. Of course, the Tropang 5G are still hunting for that twice-to-beat advantage. They need to win, and they also need to find a way and hope that other results fall their way.
All 3 quarters, TNT started like a house on fire. Let's see what happens in the fourth.
Heading pulls up for a 3. That time off the mark as Rafi Rivas doing what he does best, pulling in those rebounds. Here's Lastimosa. Now Rafi, back to Jerome. Showing zone now, talking about the Tropang 5G. That's Rafi Rivas, stopped by Poy Eram, but will shoot 2. Oh, Rafi Rivas almost turned back the clock.
But those are the things that Rafi Rivas will give you. That's a simple cut, but the recognition and the timing of that cut is you learn it as a veteran.
Let's take a look at this here. I did not expect to see a Rafi Rivas dunk attempt here today. But here we are as he drains a free throw, 70-66 to count as Rafi gets that one. And that is such a morale boost, by the way, if you're one of the younger guys on this team. Like the smile right now on the faces of Jed Mendoza, Laput, Eriobu, the widest smiles watching Rafi Rivas get to work.
And Rafi Rivas getting the call. He's getting the minutes here instead of James Laput, who usually is the backup center for Magnolia.
Heading now to Poy Eram. Heading up top. Renko Buntin with the pick there. They go to Poy Eram near the corner. Pogoy gets away from Paul Lee, but then a flurry of hands. Octana has it.
That was in his hands.
Yeah. At least from our angle. I believe they're going to at least take a look at it.
They will take a look at it, but it was clearly in the hands of Tana.
Here's Paul Lee now. 71-66, TNT still playing catch-up here. Lastimosa operates with a pick and roll. And for a brief second there, Rafi Rivas actually had the seal. Oh, and what a swat coming from Poy Eram.
And this is, I mean, one of the things that's a criticism on Jerome is how the length of time he holds the ball in every possession. But he's going to learn this as he moves along in his career.
Catch and shoot off the mark there for Paul Lee. Calvin Octana. Finding Poyaram in the interior, but there's a foul called inside. It looks like it's going to be on Paul Lee. Poyaram will get the continuation. They're not happy with that. They want to challenge it. I'm not quite sure if you can challenge continuation, though. All right, so challenge will be made out here by Coach Chito Victolero. As he is there. Actually, initially it felt like, Coach, they were not too bothered by the foul. They were bothered by the basket counted.
The basket counted. And Magnolia arguing that the foul happened even before Poy received the ball. So let's see.
So yes, it's a foul before the action there. He is holding it, holding his arm here, talking about Paul Lee. So good challenge here for Coach Chito Victolero. Saving 2 points here for Poyaram. Ball will stay with Tropang 5G though. Jordan heading. Using a pick from Poy. Swing that around. Cobuntin in the corner. Calvin. Goes up with the J. No dice. As Poyaram couldn't collect.
And once again, Rome De La Rosa. His physicality is being a problem here for Calvin Octana.
And Rome De La Rosa, again, just one of the more physical defenders. You mentioned his physicality a while ago, Coach, and I have to agree completely. Here's Lastimosa. Now to Zabe Lucero. Then Cobuntin all over him. Mark Baroka now. Baroka attacking, heading. What a pick from Rafi Rivas. Frees him up. As Rome De La Rosa unable to get that one. Then Cobuntin. Oh, that was an important swipe by Mark Baroka. They play it forward. And Rome De La Rosa scores under duress.
That's a strong move by Rome, and TNT really in a stray on the offensive end. Dear Rivas.
Impact player Rafi Rivas missed 4-pointer, and that will be against Rome De La Rosa. Rafi Rivas turning back the clock. I always joke with Rafi, what's the secret? What's the fountain of youth? He's found it definitely. And the way he's playing right now, playing in very crucial minutes here for Coach Chito Victolero.
There's that block by Rivas. Still a presence on the defensive end. Because as you mentioned, because of the high basketball IQ that he possesses.
Be Escudero has this report for us.
Paolo and Coach Mark for TNT. While there was no noticeable improvement, the coaching staff still pointed out defensive lapses in the third quarter. Players were reminded to stay composed under pressure, especially on the offensive end, to help generate those stops here in the last quarter. Now over at Magnolia, Paulie emphasized to his teammates that the fourth quarter would come down to execution, a message that Coach Jason Webb quickly echoed. He stressed that most of TNT's scoring came off Magnolia's defensive breakdown, so the focus now is on staying locked in to prevent any late runs. We'll be back with more of PBA action.
Well, talking about runs, Magnolia have been on one here. Thank you so much, Robe Escudero, for that report as we take a look at this fast break coming from the Magnolia Hotshots. They lead by 9 with 9:13 left here in the fourth. What does TNT have up their sleeves after the break? Don't go away. We'll be right back. mga kababayan natin sa Hong Kong, tuloy-tuloy ang Independence Day celebration sa Hong Kong Fest 2025, presented by Tinbo. Powered by PLDT Global, co-presented by MQuest Ventures and Philippine Airlines, the official airline carrier. Salamat din po sa ating official partners, Smart, MWell, First Pacific, and Pilipinas Live. Tomorrow, June 14, we salute our modern-day heroes in Hong Kong with Saludo the Concert with Bossing Vic Soto, Senator Rafi Tulfo, Randy Santiago, and a lot of stars. And of course, one of our favorite stars watching us in Hong Kong, Miss Shena Olaso, enjoying the contest here around the globe for sure, as that is a very long period without scoring here for TNT. And there is another uncharacteristic turnovers yet again as they turn it over to Lastimosa here. Up top, finding Dave Lucero, passing to Rafi Rivas, and he's been everywhere.
Quality minutes from Rafi Rivas. 4 points in the fourth quarter. And TNT has not scored, not just in this quarter, but in the last 6:45.
Will that end here? Boy Eram going inside. Wild shot, no good. Here's Lastimosa pitching it forward to Lucero. Magnolia are on a tear, and TNT have yet to reply.
Turnovers, and then look at that. Touch passing inside the paint there between Lucero, who has had the fabulous game, and then Rafi Rivas with the contribution. And when you turn the ball over, you will give up a ton of layups to guys like Xavier Lucero, and Magnolia taking advantage of the mistakes here of the TNT offense.
It's been all Magnolia. Let's see what the TNT Tropang 5G will do after this timeout. But in situations like this, you haven't scored in quite some time, Coach. They need to find a way to get an easy basket by hook or by crook, because this is what's at stake.
This is what's at stake. Magnolia, with a win, will firmly put themselves in the twice-to-beat scenario here together with NLEX. They will move to 8-3, and TNT will kiss that twice-to-beat advantage goodbye, and they will fall to 6-5 with the way things are going right now. And that's important because the top four, as we mentioned, will only need to win once in the quarterfinals to make it to the semifinals. And before we forget, this TNT team is seeking a Grand Slam with the possible championship in this Philippine Cup.
79-66, Coach. There have been so many good teams throughout PBA history that have fallen short of a Grand Slam.
Oh, it's so difficult.
It's so difficult. As we take a look at that, 7:20 without scoring. Will that end in this possession? A near turnover there. Calvin Oftana taking on Xavier Lucero. They go one-on-one, and here's a chance to finally put some points on the board.
Calvin Oftana is the head of the snake offensively for TNT, and he has been kept in check here primarily by Rome De La Rosa in the second half for the last at least 7 or 8 minutes.
I was going to say, Coach, he's ahead of the snake, definitely in terms of offense for the TNT Tropang 5G. But we have more from Bea Escudero. Bea.
Paolo and Coach Mark, in that most recent timeout, Coach Chot Reyes zeroed in on what he felt was the biggest issue in the closing minutes in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, rather, which was the turnovers. Just as you pointed out earlier, Coach Mark, he urged his players to stay composed on the offensive end, not only to spark a run of their own, but more importantly, to stop Magnolia from gaining any more momentum. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero. Again, easier said than done.
And the reason why they're turning the ball over, because you're having players who are not used to being the first option. Like even like an Arar Pugoy or a Calvin Oftana, you usually have Jason there, or in their last championship, Nambatak was there to provide the leadership and the execution in their offense. And now hustle plays going the way of Magnolia as well.
That is Jonicio with the basket. TNT, you're absolutely right, Coach. They're lacking the point guard of that type of quality of a Nambatak, of a Jason Castro, Jordan Heading, of course, who's brought in to try and fill in there.
That is what Heading can do.
Yeah.
And he's definitely capable of running the offense here of TNT. But as you mentioned, this is only his second game with this team.
Still betting in a guard-centric offensive system here for Coach Chotre. So there will be growing pains. And this might be it, by the way, as Mark Baroka misses out. But what a hustle play here coming from Junicio. He's been all over in terms of the rebounding.
And nobody can keep in front of Jerome Lastimosa.
Again, this is not yet too far away for the TNT Tropang 5G, but they need to get moving here. 6:41, it's a
right.
very long period.
That's only
of
11
time.
points. This is a team that can shoot well from the outside. But right now, somebody has to create offense. Somebody has to get the ball inside the paint for TNT.
And it starts off with ending possessions with rebounds like that. Here's Pogoy. Obuntin driving inside, going strong, and it looks like Rome De La Rosa got hit where it hurts the most off that drive from Kobuntin.
Oh, these are two very tough players. There's Kobuntin.
Again, they're forcing issue. They need to find points, and going to the free throw line might be one of the easier ways to get it here for the TNT Tropang 5G. As that will be a foul on Rome De La Rosa. Kobuntin with a chance here to get a few points in. Mga kababayan, mapapanood po ang ABC Nations Cup semifinals matchup ng Alas Pilipinas at Chinese Taipei mamayang 9 p.m. sa One Sports Plus on Signal Channel 261 at free access naman ito sa Pilipinas Live app. Again, congratulations to our Las Pilipinas team because they are playing fantastic
Very
here.
impressive performance from our girls.
The boys also playing well.
The boys as well.
Everyone's playing well.
Yep.
As, of course, the men just defeated Thailand, Chinese Taipei in the semifinals. Of course, let's see what our girls could do. Of course, catch that after this. Here's Mark Baroka. Much needed points, by the way, for the TNT Tropang 5G. Now, despite being scoreless for such a long period of time, it is still just 81-72.
Yes, and Chot has gone extremely small here. Let's see if they can rebound, and that's the problem.
And that will be on Varilla.
These are all tough defenders that TNT has on the floor. But Lucero can be a dominant player here on the offensive glass together with Navarro.
Here's Paulie. Trying to find Navarro. Navarro has had a breakout game for himself here for Magnolia. Turnaround J, no good.
Not a good shot from Navarro. Against Pogoy, you want it going to the basket, not away.
21 turnovers already for TNT Tropang 5G after only averaging around 12.8. That just goes to show you what type of night they've been having so far. 12 turnovers, by the way, in the first half alone. Here's Mark Baroka against Simon Enciso. Now Paul Lee. William Navarro. They're switching everything here. As William Navarro will have to jump it up with Ben Kobuntin. Now at that time, it felt like Magnolia were just going matchup hunting there, trying to get a small guy on William Navarro.
Because of all the switching that TNT is doing, pretty much switching all screens here. So definitely you will get some matchups problems for TNT. But they've been holding their own defensively since they've gone to this small lineup.
And
they're on the opposite.
They were on the wrong side. I don't think no one would shoot at the wrong basket though. But that time it will go to a black shirt.
You gotta push the ball here if you're TNT. Try to score in transition. And here comes Pogoy.
And Pogoy, not that time, as that'll be a foul against Varilla, who sends Mark Baroka to the deck. Desperate stuff here from the TNT Tropang 5G. Held scoreless for such a long period of time, over 7 minutes. between the third and fourth quarters. Timeout here for the Magnolia Hotshots as they're trying to put away this TNT squad who is desperate for a win here today. Don't go away.
You know what I love about Filipinas Live?
Game tayo dito at ang laban. Everybody let's jam. Can't stop.
You are still watching the 49th season of the PBA Philippine Cup. In just his third game with Magnolia, William Navarro admits that he is still adjusting. With only a few practices with his new team, he shared that learning the team's system, especially its discipline and executing plays, has been a bit of a challenge. As he put it, there's still a lot to learn. Magnolia's structure is different, and they need me in specific spots on the floor. Now, as he finds his timing, rhythm, and learns how to best work with his teammates, William is focusing on the defensive end. He admits to needing to be more aggressive and staying in the moment as he hopes to be more effective when his number is called. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thank you so much for that report. That was Bea Escudero talking about really the growing pains of a William Navarro. And we are now showing the reasons why they really wanted him in the squad, because this is just scratching the surface, Coach. A much better performance in
And
game
for the
three.
first time in the 3 games that William Navarro's played for Magnolia, he's seeing extended time playing alongside Xavier Lozero. And that's important because this is the future of this team.
81-72 still in favor of Magnolia. It is Jerome Lastimosa. Inbound to Paul Lee.
Now TNT trying to put in as many shooters on the floor as they can possibly have with Enciso and Heading.
William Navarro unable to get that to go. Rum La Rosa trying to keep the possession alive, and Glenn Cobuntin trying to do the same thing. But the ball will stay with the white shirts. Shot clock at 14 seconds here, with Magnolia trying to hold off any late incursions for the Tropang 5G.
Here's that last possession, Cobuntin.
Yeah.
Just falls. He was trying to throw the ball on the legs of, was that
Rome De La Rosa. Here's Paul Lee. Gonna find to Lucero in the interior. Oh, and what an up and under move.
That has been a big problem for TNT all game long. Paul Lee and Lucero pick and roll.
R.R. Pogoy trying to operate with Calvin Oftana in a 2-man game. Dionisio, good defensive stop coming from Magnolia yet again. An 11-point lead here for the Hotshots.
And again, I mean, nothing against RR, but it's usually not RR in the high ball screen in crucial moments for TNT.
Here's Paul Lee working against Pogoy. Lee backing him down, and Paul Lee, not that time. Jordan Heading has it. And De La Rosa, what an effort from De La Rosa.
Masterful.
It's plays like that, Coach,
Yes.
that have become the difference here in the fourth.
He's just been terrific on the defensive end. Lastimosa loses it.
(83-72), 3:29 left here in quarter number 4. As right now, trying something different here with Galinato making his first appearance.
So Chot putting in some of his young blood here, taking out Pogoy and Oftana. Let's see if Jordan Heading can create some offense.
Enciso. Now to Cobuntin in the corner. That was much needed.
That was the best executed play we've seen from TNT in quite a while.
This three-point shot is brought to you by Rexona. Barroca. Now Rafi Rivas, who has played fantastic here in this game. Lastimosa. Mark Barroca now. Trying to get free of Kimaurin. Mark Barroca. At that time, Rafi Rivas taps it to no one in particular. Will go the other way.
But this is just an 8-point game.
Oh, you never know what could happen. Simon Enciso. Almost lost that as Mark Barroca's all over him, and that'll be a foul against Mark, who says, yep, that's on me.
And that's the 15th foul of Magnolia. So both teams now right at the limit.
Gotta be careful if you're Magnolia. Simon Enciso and company here trying to mount a comeback. Carinato to Aurin. Aurin unable to get that to go as Cobuntin with an offensive rebound. He's been everywhere, Glenn Cobuntin, but misses from close range.
That was a nice, strong offensive rebound, and then up and under move from Cobuntin.
Magnolia looking to put the Tropang 5G away here. Here's Mark. Rafi Rivas offering a pick. Janicio back to Mark Barroca. He's got to shoot. Mark Barroca off the mark, but it falls to Rafi Rivas. Story of the game, Coach.
And the important thing there for Magnolia, you used up all 24 seconds, and then you get an offensive rebound.
Here's Paul Lee pulling up a three. Rafi Rivas yet again. What about the contribution of the not so often used Rafi Rivas as Aris Janicio can't get the three ball, but Rafi's there.
3 straight offensive rebounds here for Magnolia.
He's a magnet, Coach. Barroca. Now Lucero. And everyone wanted Rafi Rivas to get another offensive rebound.
You got to push the ball here for TNT. Still a lot of time.
They need to go quick. But Rafi Rivas with the tap.
He's been everywhere.
A bit of a throwback here for Magnolia fans. Just a reminder, Rafi Rivas, a multiple-time champion with his franchise.
Oh, yes. Won championships as well with Shot Reyes in Coca-Cola.
A serial winner. He knows what it takes. Simon Enciso to Cobuntin. Quick trigger three off the mark. Galinato, big rebound. The spin, the basket, and one.
Galinato is a strong body. Very athletic for his size as well. Former teammates with Xavier Lozero at the UP camp. This is what they lacked all game long. Somebody who can score inside, get the ball inside the paint.
Galinato, chance here to trim the lead. And again, this game is not over. It's not over. Misses that free throw though as Rafi Rivas with another rebound.
Oh, steal.
And Xavier Lucero unable to get that. Galinato on the floor. Jordan Heading pushing the pace. Heading, Cobuntin almost lose it. Heading for three. Heading, no! As De La Rosa gets the rebound.
They had a shot there.
They need a stop. But they get a steal. And that will go the other way.
Is that it's 2 fouls, two shots.
Fourth foul already.
So Magnolia with 2 turnovers
at a crucial moment.
Yes, opening the door here for TNT for still a possible comeback.
83-77. We could have a great escape on the cards here. But of course, Magnolia would refuse to have any of that. Kimaurin needs to make his free throws, though.
Galinato missed a free throw earlier, so these are big free throws for Kim Aurin.
5-point lead still for Magnolia.
Can be a single possession game.
Because the 4-point line
Yep.
exists here.
Let's see.
Pressure-packed free throw for Aurin. And he gets both. Cue the timeout as the Magnolia Hotshots are looking to preserve this lead. 83-79, 4-point ball game, 1-possession ball game. And we will hold on to the air here, Coach. But then right now, if you're TNT, you're scoring without Calvin Oftana, without R.R. Pogoy.
I thought the attention of the offense was too much Oftana Pogoy-centric in that fourth quarter. And that's why they struggled as we look at the standings and how important this game is for Magnolia. They can clinch twice to beat. For TNT, they will fall down to the bottom half of the quarterfinals with a loss here. But going back to that, I thought the Pogoy and Oftana forced a few shots there in the fourth quarter and their offense struggled. And that's why when Shot took both of them out, the flow became better for TNT as we look at our format here with the top 4 teams getting the twice to beat advantage in the quarterfinals.
Well, that's what's at stake, Coach. And of course, if you get beyond quarterfinals, a best-of-7 series in the semifinals gonna be exciting, no matter who
now
makes their way there.
Back to this game, Magnolia with 2 consecutive turnovers. They cannot do that again, and that's why Coach Chito called this timeout to make sure they can settle his backcourt, especially Paul Lee and Baroka. Let's see if he goes 3 guards here. Maybe a Jerome Lastimosa can come in as well.
And there's the trio here for the Tropang 5G. They're playing with 4 guards and Galinato. Well, Kobuntin is more of a wing player, but then he can also handle the ball. And there's Dave Lucero. He's on the floor alongside Paul Lee, Aris Junicio, Mark Baroka.
They're going to take the ball in the front court.
Yeah. So 14 seconds only.
Well, they committed 2 turnovers coming from the backcourt, and that's why I think this is the right move for Coach Chito.
Dave Lucero has it up top. Mark Baroka now trying to force a turnover here. Talking about the Tropang 5G. Mark Baroka has it. They're not going to try and foul, and there it is.
It's not a good foul.
Yeah.
By Enciso.
And
6 seconds left in the shot clock, and then
Coach
you're sending
Sotreyes,
Baroka to the line.
The reaction says it all, Coach. And Mark Baroka now with a chance to make this a 2-possession ball game with a basket. Misses the first. Well, well, well.
Now Magnolia putting in some defensive players. And Baroka, usually steady guy.
Well, with the pressures like this, even the steadiest shake a little. But he gets a second one. And we have a 5-point ball game here. 83, 79.
84.
84 rather, 79.
5-point game.
We're going to wait for that to update. But at the moment, there it is. 21.7 left here, Coach. Options for TNT?
It has to be quick. It can be a 2, can be a 3, can be a 4, but you have to score in the first 5 seconds for me.
So these are the last remaining games of the elimination round. Northport against San Miguel. San Miguel need to win this one, by the way.
San Miguel and Barangay Nebra can both get to 8. And if they do that, Magnolia also wins the day. We will have a 4-way tie at first place.
4-way tie at first place. I have no idea how the math works there. We have to turn it over to math genius Bea Escudero for that one. But then either way, the most important thing for each of those teams is to get the win, first and foremost.
Yes.
Rain or shine, of course, still with a chance actually for a top 4 finish.
They do. Because they're going to play Barangay Ginebra. And if they win that, they'll drag Barangay Ginebra into a tie with them.
And I don't know how the math works from that point on. Kasi ang daming teams that will end up with a 7-4 record. All right, so 21.7 left here in the Ninoy Aquino Stadium.
This has to be quick for TNT. 21 seconds, a lot of time here. And you can go again to your press because they've forced a couple of turnovers. And now you're putting in your best shooters. Pogoy, Vosotros,
Aurin, Cobuntin, and Heading. No bigs, all shooters. And they give it to Vosotros. Now to Heading. Heading pulls up for 4. Heading can't get it. And that time will be a foul on Almon Vosotros, who tried to force the ball away.
And that's the value of Xavier Lucero. He made sure he got that rebound for Magnolia.
And Coach Chot Reyes may be staring at the hard route here going into a semifinals, potentially with a twice to win disadvantage.
TNT, they dug themselves a bit in a hole, losing their first 3 games. Can't blame them with all the euphoria coming off that Game 7 win against Barangay Ginebra and the short turnaround to the Philippine Cup. And then they turned things around by winning 6 straight games. So this team is really, it's a fighting team. It's a team with a lot of character.
Well,
but right now, they're looking at a twice to beat disadvantage in the quarterfinals.
Well, they also have had a rough time adjusting to life without a certain Ronde Hollis Jefferson, Jason Castro,
and then Reynam Batak.
And Reynam Batak as well. They've lost a lot of key pieces in that championship puzzle, and it was always going to be difficult. And now they're trying to fit one in Jordan Heading. So there's a lot for TNT to work on. As Pogoy will try to get the 4. Oh, he gets it. And all of a sudden, you can't make a mistake at this point, Coach.
It's down to a 3-point game. And now you can play the foul game here. What a shot by Pogoy. Defended well by Aris Junicio. Wow.
RR Pogoy giving TNT a little lifeline here. If you're Magnolia, don't turn the ball over.
That is the last thing that you can do here if you're Magnolia. Just make sure you inbound the ball properly. And then when you get the ball, don't pass it anymore when you receive the ball from the inbound, and then expect that foul.
So right now, only the steadiest of hands on the free throw line, please, if you're a Magnolia fan. Because you make one, it's still a one-possession ball game.
Yes. That's why you have to make both free throws.
You make 2, that's
Magnolia.
ice.
Yes.
You make 2, that's ice.
And TNT still has 1 full timeout, which is huge. Because they can foul. If Magnolia only makes 1, then they can call a timeout and set up a possible tying 4-point shot.
And the question is, if you miss the first one, do you miss the second just to get the timeout?
No, because you can lose with a 4-point shot.
Okay. Oh, the 4-point shot changes the mathematics here. All right, so who do they go with? Still just shooters on the floor here for the Tropang 5G.
And the emergency pass here would be to Lucero. If you cannot get it to your guards, because he's there in the middle of the floor. There's that pass. Yes, he towers over everybody else, so that is really the pass that you want.
And he only had a second off. So, again, you make the first and you make the second.
That's it.
Magnolia wins.
Yep.
If you miss the first and you make the second,
that opens the door for TNT, and they can call a timeout.
If you make the first and miss the second,
shot. This is an important shot.
This is very
right
important.
That first shot of Lucero, and he calmly sinks it.
Nerves of steel from Zave.
Now the Zave can clinch this with 1 more free throw. If he misses, they can lose. We can have overtime with a half-court shot.
Let's see, because the half court is not a 5-point line.
That's it.
Quick turnover. Right now, if you are Magnolia,
Don't foul.
don't foul a 4-point shooter.
It's a 2-point possession with only 2.6 seconds left. Now, if you're Magnolia, don't even defend. You can give up the shot right here for TNT.
I'm not quite sure how the math works at this point, but then I don't know whether or not quotient will actually play a factor if they need to score here. Talking about TNT. Because there are just so many tiebreakers potentially still.
They will not tie with Magnolia anymore.
Yeah.
Because Magnolia is going to be at 8-3. So this will not factor into any possible quotient.
So right now, it's a hope against hope. Again, for those wondering, by the way, how's the volleyball going? Congratulations to the Philippines for winning the first set against Chinese Taipei.
Oh, that's great news.
Okay, now this is semi-finals here. And to be quite frank, I don't remember the last time the Filipinas was in an Asian level competition and would be on the brink of making a final. So let's see how far they go. But focus back here at the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. 88-83, 2.6 left. They need a foul, 4-pointer, and 1.
Yes. And that's why if you're Magnolia,
don't foul.
Don't foul. Don't even be in a situation where you can be called for a foul.
RR Pogoy to inbound here. Vosotros almost lost the handle. He pulls up. And that'll do it. 5-point win here for the Magnolia Hotshots. 88-83. With that win, they secured a twice-to-beat advantage. And the question now is just at what seed?
Extremely huge win for Magnolia. They controlled first place for the majority of this conference, and they will still be at the #1 position right now, tied with Northport at 8-3, and most importantly, clinching twice-to-beat advantage. And our best player of the game, the veteran Rafi Rivas. Look at that, 4.6 rebounds and 1 block. He was a +7. Limited minutes, but high-quality minutes coming from Rafi Rivas.
Rafi Rivas, you take a look at the numbers and you wonder why. The impact he had in that fourth quarter to ice this ball game was immense. 88-83, final score here today as the Magnolia Hotshots confirm their twice-to-beat advantage. And it all wraps up on Sunday with Northport Batampiero taking on the San Miguel Beermen in the first game, followed by Rainer Shine taking on Barangay Ginebra San Miguel at the United Center in Antipolo. Still, the playoff picture is not completely clear, but what a big game on Sunday. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
That's the secret of the champion team. They will not give up easily. If you don't play 48 minutes, then kala ni Mike, kala ni Paul, tapos na.
I told him that at halftime. You know these guys gonna come back. They gonna make a run. You understand?
Ha? Live? Time lang. Kaya mo lang. Di pa tapos yung laban, hindi tayo mag-give up. Ano ba to? Wala ko lalagay. Ito si Jerry kasi. Ginugulo mo ako, Jerry. Ngayon nga lang nanalo, ginugulo mo pa.
Welcome to our post-game press conference. We have our player of the game, Rafi Rivas, and winning coach, Coach Chito Victorera of Magnolia. Gentlemen, congratulations. I'll start with you, Coach. Nabanggit mo na the mentality tonight is game 1 na to ng playoffs para sa inyo. With the way you executed and defended, kung preview to ng ilalaro nyo sa playoffs, how do you like your chances?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank Jesus Christ for the win. And yun yung mentality namin eh. From the preparation, I want them to feel the playoff atmosphere. And I trust my players. Whenever backs against the wall or do or die games, I trust the guys na they will perform on their very best. And credit to them all. Talagang pinaghandaan nila. Credit to all the players dahil sila naman yan eh. Sila nag-execute, sila dumipensa, sila nag-usap. Kami, guidance lang naman kami, preparation lang. But all of them, it boils down to the players, and credit to them because they work hard. Even sabi ko nga sa kanila, kanina pinag-usapan namin, Kap, it's 48 minutes. If you don't play 48 minutes against this champion team, you will not survive. So it's a learning experience again. Down the stretch, we're relax a little bit because kala namin panalo na. And then, yun, nagkaroon pa sila ng chance. But ano pa rin, credit to players pa din because up to the last minute of the game, last second of the game, we play our very best.
Thank you, Coach. Rafi, you played extended minutes tonight. And there is a reason why Coach Chito, whom you have a long history with, put you in. Just talk about the role that you played and will continue to play for the team on and off the court.
Yeah, I mean, credit to the coaches. First of all, I'd like to thank them also for continuously believing in me and knowing what I'm capable of doing. You know, it's because it's a playoff atmosphere. You know, I've been here many times, and I know what it takes to you know, get to the next round, and it's just, you know, trying to go all out. You know, do what I can, whether I'm on the court or off the court. My role doesn't stop.
That's Rafi Rivas with former teammate Coach Chito Victolero. As we take a look at this prelude to the playoffs, let's take a look at that first quarter here with Kelly Williams getting off. TNT also a good start. It was actually a good shooting half for the TNT Tropang 5G to start out with, Coach.
They made 6 threes in that first half. And then Magnolia was resilient. Maronga scored 6 straight points at 1 point there in that first quarter.
Zabe Lucero will also have a big game here for the Magnolia Hotshots with 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. We talk about who has next here for the Magnolia Hotshots. Definitely him, as Poy Eram getting a basket there to end the first quarter. It was a 2-point lead for TNT Tropang 5G, but entered the second quarter, Paul Lee started heating up as well from beyond the arc. As we take a look at this, Lucero with a find to Paul Lee in the corner. They did so good at making sure that he didn't get a lot of open looks, but then a few possessions towards the tail end of the second quarter was not great.
They really played Paul Lee not to take those 3-pointers that are talking about TNT. But Paul Lee made that 3. Eram converts here, and then Paul Lee will finish this second quarter with a 4.
Again, a quick 7 points for Paul Lee, relocating sidestep 4 as Paul Lee doing what he does best. They had a great game from Paul Lee, just basically drop him off all airspace. But then here's Jerome Lastimosa, this time attacking Amon Basotro, so a bit of a drive. We saw that a while ago against Heading as well.
And I thought that was a great call by Chito Victolero because he saw Basotros on Lastimosa and he called Lastimosa's number for that play.
Of course, going into the halftime break, TNT did trail by 6. Let's go on to Calvin Oftana and the comeback attempt here for the TNT Tropang 5G. They actually started out the third quarter really well. It was a theme. They start quarters out well, but then end slow. There it is, Calvin Oftana really capping off what was a good run for TNT. But what about William Navarro? A breakout game for him here for the Magnolia Hotshots.
They started him. He got his confidence. He got his shots off. He was aggressive at the offensive end. And he played his best game as a hotshot.
And of course, Kim Maurin on the attack on the other end. But again, Zabe Lucero was everywhere for the Magnolia Hotshots. That time, a short shot clock. Didn't matter. Didn't have a lot of arc on that shot, but he still managed to score. 3-point lead for Magnolia going into the fourth quarter. And this is when things really fell off the wheels for TNT. They were not able to find a way to score for an extended period of time, over 7 minutes. And guys like Rafi Rivas made the difference.
That was a 12-0 run, I believe, from Magnolia. And they were able to get the separation they needed.
And Janisha with a basket there, but then it was a lot more nervy than Magnolia would have wanted. RR Pogoy draining the 4-pointer there to make it only a 3-point game with 3.7 seconds left. But let's take a look at that again as RR Pogoy gave them a bit of a lifeline. But Xavier Lucero, coolest guy in the gym, will get the 2 free throws.
What about the trust of Coach Tito Viclero to get that inbounded to Xavier Lucero? And for him to take those game-sealing free throws.
You know, it feels like every moment that we are seeing for Xavier Lucero, he is becoming a veteran before our very eyes. And here he is, coolly draining the 2 free throws to put the game beyond doubt. TNT would have a late attempt towards the end, but it would be all for naught. The Magnolia Hotshots win by 5, secure their spot with a twice-to-beat advantage going into the quarterfinals. The question is, at what seed? We will find out after Sunday as we take a look at the final score, 88-83. As we mentioned, the last day of the eliminations will be on Sunday in Nares Center in Antipolo. Northport Batang Bear against the San Miguel Beermen. If Northport managed to upset San Miguel, we have a lot more math to do. And for Barangay Ginebra, a win here would see them clinch a twice-to-beat advantage as well. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Ninoy Aquino Stadium. Amparo de Rosario alongside Coach Mark Molina. It was Bea Escudero joining us on the sidelines. And we will see you on Sunday.
PBA, alam mo to, laro mo to, tuloy sa kampyonato. Sama-sama tayo, manlalaro, tapisyonado. Angat ang laban, everybody